it's Appleminte. Welcome back again to my channel. Welcome back to my face. It's been a little while since I've been on camera, but I promise I'm still here. I'm not just floating hands. Anyway, for today's video, as you might have seen from the thumbnail, I'm gonna be taking a really old piece of artwork and updating it, although today I have a little bit of a twist. But for the video, today's victim is this really old piece of artwork that I did back in 2006, which is actually the first piece of digital art that I ever did. So this is our victim today. Yes, I enjoyed that word because really that's what it is. So I'm gonna be taking this piece of artwork and redrawing it in the style of 90s anime. So let's get right into it. Like, seriously though. What was I doing? So for this drawing, I'm gonna be using this Square Arteza Mixed Media Sketchbook. And for what I'm actually drawing with, you guys might know that I typically tend to use these Prismacolor Cool Erase pencils. And currently I only had a red and blue, and they were almost out, so I bought this new set, which is really satisfying to look at. But this is the one I currently had, and it's almost gone. And there was a really cheap set on Amazon for like $6 or $7 for 12 different colors. So I figured why not get it, because I use these literally all the time. It's my pencil of choice when drawing. And for this video, I'm gonna be using the purple one. So as I showed you my very old artwork, I remember that that was the first piece that I ever drew digitally. And I know I'm not doing a digital piece for today's drawing, but I wanted to do a twist on the theme overall of what I'm drawing, which I'll get to in a second. But in terms of the old drawing, yeah, I specifically remember sitting down with my very first drawing tablet, which I think was like a Genius brand or something. I don't even know if it still exists, but I got really carried away with all of the different brush effects in Photoshop and everything, like the default grass brush and the petals brush, and I just kind of went crazy. Didn't really have a concept of drawing on layers and blending or anything like that. I just kind of drew what I wanted, so it's really basic. But I enjoy taking basic things and themes and turning them into something else. So that's really what I wanted to do for today's video. And as you might be able to tell, I'm not drawing in my usual art style. I'm drawing in a more 90s anime style. And lately I've been listening to a lot of the song Plastic Love and a lot of just 90s and 80s Japanese pop compilations. I really like music like that. I've always loved the 80s and the 90s, so I feel like I'm like an older person at heart. But anyway, I really wanted to take that inspiration and use it for today's video because I was just really in this mood to draw something like that, and I thought it would be really fun to take an older piece of mine and completely transform it into something else. So even though her design is basic to start, that's why I wanted to add some things to her. I had the image in my head to make her very like prim and proper with makeup and everything, because I see a lot of like 90s anime drawings. There was a thing going around for a while where everybody was turning their drawings into 90s screen caps, if you know what I'm talking about. It was all over Instagram for a while, and there are still a lot of artists that enjoy drawing in this style. So I kind of wanted to emulate that in this drawing, where she's very made up and very pretty and very cutesy, and that's just the whole theme of the piece. And as you can see, I added some extra accessories than was in the original, like some jewelry and hair clips and stuff like that. So just taking the original and making it more fun, because in the original one she was just standing there with her arms behind her back looking awkwardly to the side. And I also wanted to keep it as a bust shot because I wanted to add a lot of detail in this drawing. I didn't want it to be like too far away, making a full body drawing or anything like that, because I would have lost a lot of the detail. And because I don't ever draw in this style, I was just really excited to exaggerate everything. And I feel like I can do that better when it's more of a close-up shot. Everything's a little bit bigger, and yeah, I can fill up the whole page with it. In terms of my shading, I was trying to be mindful of the cell shading style used in anime, especially older anime. I tend to typically blend out the shading on my skin, for example. When I draw skin and I color it in, I tend to blend that out a little bit more than, as you can see underneath the hair, those shadows are pretty harsh. So I typically would blend that out with a bunch of colors, but in this case, I wanted it to be very cell shaded looking. The only thing I really allowed myself to blend was the blush on the cheeks, because I just wanted that to look a little bit airbrushed to bring some color to her face, but I didn't do anything too exaggerated there. I also gave her some light lipstick to match the lipstick that she's holding. I thought that would also be a cute touch. Like I said, I wanted her to look very made up, which is also why I decided to add that airbrushed blush in there, even if not a lot of cartoons usually added that, I guess. I mean, they did, but it wasn't like airbrushed in. Whatever, that's my own touch. And then for the hair, I left a lot of areas white for the highlights. I kind of just basically drew in shapes for where I wanted them to go, and then left them white. Typically, I would leave white spots like this, but then I would shade around it to make it almost like a wet, shiny looking effect, if that makes sense. If you've seen my other videos, you'll know that my art style is a little different in terms of coloring the hair. But like I said, I was trying to keep things a little bit more simple and a little bit more cell shaded, which was a little difficult to do at first because I tend to fall back into the way I always do things. So I had to keep reminding myself, stop, don't blend this out, leave it the way it is. This is how it's supposed to look for this. So I did that with her hair shading as well, going in and making it, I guess the under part of her hair, since she's got short hair, I just made the under part shaded to give that effect of it looking fluffier. Overall, I really enjoyed doing this. Like, it was almost like a last minute thing that I had thought to bring in this theme, because originally I was just going to do a complete redraw, and I thought maybe I should redraw her digitally since it was a digital piece. But I enjoy doing traditional pieces a little bit more, especially for YouTube videos, because I feel like you can see what I'm doing a lot better, and I like the way that traditional media comes across on camera. So I wanted to stick with that for this. And like I said, the inspiration pretty much came from when I was brainstorming. I was just listening to a lot of this 80s and 90s Japanese pop music. And so I was like, you know what, why don't I actually use this? And I have to say, I kind of want to do it again and again and again. This was so much fun to draw. And the style, it's always fun to like try a different style and something that you don't normally always do. So I'm really curious to know if you guys have ever tried doing something like this, because I definitely think you should try it if you haven't already. It's a lot of fun, if I haven't mentioned that like 10 times. And then for her background, like I mentioned before, in the original, I used a lot of like flower petals and grass textures. But I didn't want to make like the whole background petals. Instead, I wanted it to be a lot more magical looking, ethereal, if you know what I mean. So I added a lot of like those little clouds with a pink sky to also mirror the pinks that are in the drawing. I didn't want to introduce any other colors, so I stuck to pinks and purples there. And then I also left some space for the grass to kind of give a little nod to the original background, which she had. And I also added some flowers in, again, because the original background had some flowers, but tried to all keep within the same style of this drawing. And yeah, that is my thought process. That is how I went about creating this piece in a 90s anime style. Definitely let me know if you enjoyed watching this. I would love to turn some of my characters into different anime styles like this. Like, I think it would be really fun to draw different characters in different anime styles. So if you want to see that, or if you're interested in something like this and you like this video, please let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate you guys watching this video, and as always, I have all of my links in the description box below. The link to my online store, which you can get something before Christmas. I also have the link to my Patreon pin club, my Instagram, and my Discord server, where we're all kind of crazy, but we love each other. So go check all those links out in the description below. And I will see you guys all next Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, as always. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and happy winter, happy December. Bye-bye.